Hello friends, welcome to my channel Power BI Skills. In our today's video, I'm going to share an easiest way to create fiscal year table in Power BI with the help of DAX functions. I'm sure that after watching this video, you will not have any doubt in the concept of creating calendar year table and fiscal year table in Power BI. But before we proceed further, I would request you to please like and share my videos in case you believe that you are getting benefits through these videos. In case you are new to my channel, then I would request you to please subscribe to this channel. This would motivate me to create more such useful contents for my viewers. Thank you. Let's get started. Let's first open our Power BI window. So this is our Power BI screen. To create a table, or I would say the date table, I'll have to first go to modeling, and here I will select this option, write a DAX expression to create a new table. I'll click on this and I will name this table as date table, and I would use calendar function. I'll enter the start date. So for that I will use date function, and I'll use the format year, month and day. So I will use the period 1st January 2022 till 31st March 2023. So my year would be 2022, month would be January, which is the first month, and date would be 1st of January. So this would be my start date for the calendar, and again I will enter my end date as well. For that as well, I will use the date function. My end date would be 23, then month would be March, so that would be 3, and then day would be 31st. So I have entered the start date and end date. I'll simply hit enter, and you can see this date range is appearing in form of column. Now let me add more columns to this table. For that I will use my DAX function add columns, and here I would shift enter, and let's say first I would add column calendar year. So this is the name of the column, calendar year, and here I will use my DAX function year, and here in year function I will have to mention the date as well. For that we have to calculate the year. I'll mention the above mentioned date range which we have calculated above, and if I hit enter here, you can see another column for calendar year would appear. So let me add few more columns here. I'll be adding the column for calendar month. I would say calendar month number. I'll use the DAX function month, and in the date range I will share the above mentioned date range which we have calculated. Similarly, I would add quarter as well. So calendar quarter number, I'll use quarter function, and same way I will mention the date range which we have calculated up. If I hit enter, you will see there are two more columns which are appearing here. So the calendar month number, let's say if it is appearing July So you can see the month would be the seventh month, the calendar month, and the quarter would be the third quarter. But let's say if I want to show a quarter in the form of Q2, Q3, Q1, I want to add a prefix Q, prefix of alphabet Q in my quarter. So that's very simple. In the quarter function, you can add maybe alphabet Q in the inverted commas, hit space, and you have to concatenate this with the quarter number function which is appearing to concatenate two cells, or I would say the Q alphabet here with the quarter number. You have to mention AND symbol here. So once you mention the AND symbol, or once you add the AND symbol and you will hit enter, you can see the quarter number is appearing correctly, Q3. Let me sort the date in the ascending order. For that, I'll go to date and I will hit sort ascending. So you can see that now days, month, and quarters are appearing in the ascending order as well. So let's add a week number as well. So I would write calendar week number as a column header, and here I would use my DAX function week number. Here I would also mention the same date range. And let's say in the week number, I want to add a prefix W. For that, I'll use the same method. I would mention W alphabet in inverted commas, and to concatenate this with the the week number function, I will use and this is it. Now you can see we have another column for weeks as well. And if we have to add a month name, so let me add, okay, I will first add or mention the name of the column month. So here I will use a function, DAX function format. I'll give the same date range, and here I would have to specify the format as well. So since I need this in the month format, I will use MMMM. So if I hit enter, I'll get the month name as well here. So month name would remain same whether we are using the calendar year or a fiscal year. So that would not change. Similarly, I have to enter the day as well. So I will shift enter, mention column name as day, and here also I would use my format function. I would give the reference of the date range calculated above, and here I would give the format of DDDD. So this would show me the day as well, which is Sunday, Monday, and so on. Wonderful. So this is all about the calendar table which we have created. Now let's say we have to create a fiscal year. So friends, you must be aware that in many organizations we have a financial year or fiscal year which is different from the calendar year. So for example, in many organizations we have a fiscal year starting from 1st April till 31st March, whereas the calendar year from 1st January till 31st December. And let's take a hypothetical scenario here. Let's say our fiscal year starts from 1st July and end on 30th of June. How would we add the calendar for the fiscal year starting from 1st July and ends on 30th of June? For that, let me go to next row, and here I would first mention fiscal month number And here I would use the same formula month, but instead of date, I would be using a DAX function eDate. In eDate, I will be using the same date range which we have calculated above, and along with this, we'll have to mention the number. So let's say if we are calculating or we have a fiscal year starting from 1st July, and the 1st July is 6 months after my calendar starting date, which is 1st January. So if I have to match 1st July with 1st January, I'll have to subtract 6 months from the fiscal year start date. So I'll have to match it with my calendar year start date. For that, I will have to minus 6 months. So let's say another example, if my fiscal year start date is 1st April till 31st of March. So 1st April is 3 months after the 1st January, which is calendar year start date. So in that scenario, while using the fiscal month, we'll have to subtract 3 from the E date. I hope you understood this concept. So it is simple. I have mentioned minus 6 here. I will hit enter. Now you can see the January month, as per calendar month, it is 1 first month, but as for fiscal month, it is 7th month because my first month would be 1st July. First month would be the July month. Then from July till June, we have 6 months, and 1st January would be the 7th month. And then 30th June here, June month would be my 12th month, right? If we have to say, let's say if I want to see the June month here, uh, if let's say I select any date on the June month, I want to see whether it is appearing correctly as 12th month. Now you can see I have selected 21st of June 2022. The fiscal month which is appearing is 12th, which is absolutely correct, right? So we have added the fiscal month number. Now we'll add the fiscal quarter number as well. So I'll write the column name fiscal quarter number, and here I will use same quarter function, and instead of date I will use function eDate, and again I will give the date range. Oops. Okay, I'll give date range, and again I would mention -6. So we have fiscal quarter number as well, and just like the calendar quarter, we have added a prefix Q. In fiscal quarter also we will add prefix Q in the same manner. So I will use alphabet Q and space, and I would use and symbol, and that's it. And now if you see from a calendar year perspective, January would be Q1, but from the fiscal year perspective, January would be Q3. Now let me add the fiscal year number as well. For that, we'll go to next row. I would mention the column name fiscal year. I'll use year function, and here also I would mention eDate, and I'll give the date range and -6. If I hit enter, So you can see this year which is appearing, fiscal year which is appearing 2021. But I want to show the fiscal year is like 2021-2022, because from 1st July 21 to 30th June 22, this would be my fiscal year 2021-22. For that, I would uh, use a space, and I would use and I would use a hyphen here, because we'll have to, after this fiscal year number, I would have to add hyphen, and then we have to add 2022, which is for this year, fiscal year 2021-22. So for the next year, I will have to use the same function, year, edate, and I would mention the date range, and here again I would mention -6. But since this would be the subsequent calendar year, because of 2021-22, here in the same formula I would add 1. Let me show you. So I will plus 1, and now I would hit enter. Now you can see the fiscal year for the state 2022, it is appearing 21-22. So let's say the next year would start from 1st July 2022. So in 1st July 2022, my fiscal year would change from 21-22 to 22-23. Let's see whether this is changing. So let me just move to 1st July. Yeah, you can see now it is the July month. And if my fiscal year changing, yes, it is changing. You can see from July month onwards, the fiscal year is changed from 21-22 to 22-23. It is simple. Now, since I don't need the second year after hyphen uh, in like 4 digit, I just need the last 2 digit, like instead of 2021 dash 2022, I just want to mention 2021 dash 22 only. How would I do that? For that, I would use the write function, and here I would add I would add 2, because we just need the last 2 digits of the year 2022. Let's see if this would work. I would hit enter. Now you can see it is showing the last 2 digit of the year 2022. Similarly, in the subsequent year as well, it is showing correctly. Now one more thing, if in the fiscal year I want to add a prefix FY, I think we can use the same method which we have used in fiscal quarter and the calendar quarter. I would, before these functions, I would use fy in inverted commas space, and I would add another space because I want to show it as like uh, fy, then space, and then we have the fiscal year number. So for that I will use and I would mention space in inverted commas. I would add another and symbol, and that's it. And if I click on hit enter, you can see the fiscal year is appearing correctly. So friends, this is how, like I have explained you how to create a calendar year and fiscal year with the help of simple DAX function in Power BI. You can practice this. It is very simple. I'm sure you won't be having any doubt or any questions relating to creation of calendar year and fiscal year table. In case you still have any doubts, questions, you can send your questions or queries through the comments field, and I will revert on this as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, friends. Thank you. Bye bye.